Well, Matt, absolute pleasure to talk to you. This is a long time coming, this. You wouldn't know this. Well, you will know this a bit because I've spoke to you before.
Yeah.
I won't pretend, but there's been a ton of Hastings fans that want to hear from you and know your opinions on a few things.
They do, yeah.
But to keep it, like, how did you first get started?
Quite a short story, in all fairness. I was involved with a kids' football team in the younger days as such, and the lad obviously played in the team, and every week, and every other week, could never get a referee. And being an ex-football player, as I was, I thought I knew the insights of refereeing, but I didn't. So I went on a course, ironically, do you know what I mean? And got hooked up line and sinker, in all fairness, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So started in a few games, learning. Obviously, the kids' football team kind of like went a bit sideways and finished, and I just carried on doing adult football, and I just progressed with it, in all fairness, do you know what I mean? So got hooked.
Oh, yeah. How does that work then, Matt? Like, in terms of your qualifications for the levels of leagues you're at, I mean,
right?
How does that work for someone who, you know, I wouldn't have a clue, but so how would it work?
Well, it starts with levels, one to, I think it's to 10, I think it was, the day when I first started out, and you go on the progression route, obviously getting promoted to the next level as such. You know what I mean? So someone comes along, writes a little kind of like an essay, assessment about you, and submits it to the local authorities like Sussex County and things like that. And the more kind of like good assessments you get, it puts you forward to promotion to the next level, and vice versa. So you got the ladder, and obviously from local football to county football to Ryman to the conference and so on like that. So obviously with the higher leagues, you've got to be a certain level of on access. So local parts games, you've got to be a level 7, level 8 nowadays. Do you know what I mean? So I got to a level 3. I had several years doing that, and obviously I'm back down to level 4 now, obviously because I didn't really meet the criteria which was needed at the time, because you get club marks, assessment marks, and obviously I just kind of vanished away a little bit as such. Do you know what I mean?
What was that? You weren't card happy enough or something? What was you know?
It probably was that. I mean, obviously I think I maybe upset a few clubs doing things right, and obviously they thought doing things wrong. So obviously they give you a poor club mark, so that puts you down in the rankings. So when you go too far down in the rankings, you don't meet the criteria to stay on for another year. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
I mean, Matt, how does it work in terms of, because obviously we all have biased clubs. You know, I'm a Hastings fan. I know there's biased fans without doubt. So how does it work? Like, you know, the assessor's sort of report favoured over the club reports, or how does it work? Because, you know, obviously clubs are biased.
Well, clubs obviously, assessment marks is one category. Club marks is another category, administration is another category, and fitness and meet the criteria to obviously go to a certain level. So it's about four or five categories you've got to meet to get us to a certain standard, but then obviously get you to another level. Makes any sense. So if you get poor club marks, that's always not a bad thing. But if you've got good assessment marks, that balance thing. So what you need is good assessments and good club marks, but you can't get everybody happy. And ironically, if you send somebody off and they feel that's a bit harsh, you're going to get a poor club mark. So sometimes you've got to try and manage certain things, or try and do things that they want to see and maybe to what to hear. So you've got to conduct yourself, pre-match with the secretaries and things like that. So sometimes it goes on face value, and they think, I don't like him, regardless how you referee as such. Do you know what I mean? But generally, it evens itself out, in all fairness. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah, there is a criteria to get a certain, and fitness is the main thing as well, because if you're not fit enough, you don't pass the fitness test, you don't go up to the next level. So there's a lot of criteria, and same as administration. You've obviously got to do your paperwork correctly and things like that. And sometimes, I'm not the brightest tool out there. Do you know what I mean? Even when I do dish cards out, things like that, you still got to meet that criteria.
Yeah, we're not on about Jack Dixon yet. We're not on about him yet.
I Oh, right. Good old Jack. Yeah, good coming. No doubt we're going to come to that. No
yeah,
doubt.
your mate.
No, you've mentioned it.
Your mate Jack. No, just still on that point, like just from us, from a lowly fan point of view, like, so what do you do? What do you tend to do? Is it like you're going before the game, you'll say to the players and the coaches, look, this is what I expect. Please, you know, this is how I'm going to ref the game, or is that how it generally works?
It used to be many years ago. We used to go into the teams and say, this is what I expect, etc. But now it's come to the professional side of it. You don't interact with the teams no more. So generally you get to the ground about an hour, obviously like an Ishmael game, you get there about an hour and a half before the game.
Yeah.
Meet your assistants. Sometimes you travel together or you meet them there. And sometimes with assistants you've never met before. So you try and get like a ramal, whatever the words I'm looking for, to see who's the seniority out the two, how they conduct themselves and things like that. So you try and get a little bit of banter going, get a bit of teamwork going in the space of an hour and a half. So yeah, we get an hour and a half, grab a cup of tea. Then obviously we get in the change room. We've obviously like get our warm-up gear on, and we get a knock at the door about 45 minutes before the game with the secretary, and they hand in the team sheets. Then I discuss little one or two bits and bobs with them, which I hope they kind of relay to the teams what I expect from them in a certain manner, but not generally not too much, because obviously if you do too much, it bites you in the bum sometimes when after the game. Well, you mentioned this and you mentioned that, but you never done it. So, and obviously they say 5 minutes, 7 minutes to 3 if it's an afternoon game. Do the buzzer. We go out as a team, 3 of us. Obviously, initial handshakes, split, check nets, come back, and then the whistle goes at 3 o'clock and such. And
then it all happens.
It all happens, yeah.
Right, Ian. Well, I've got a few questions for you.
Go ahead, young man.
Yeah, I've got now. I'll put it out on the Facebook and all that, and the Twitter and the forums and all that about the questions. Now, as usual, the Facebook, they're all like it, but they don't put a bloody question in. But I've had a lot of feedback this morning, and a few of them are about a certain player. But let's go to the sensible one to begin with, right? So this is Andy. Did Andy ask? I think Andy asked this one. Was it? What's your thoughts in terms of player behaviour compared to say 10 years ago, like across the age groups? And you know, has it an impact of the Premier League and the behaviour coming down the leagues? I mean, what's your thoughts? I think that's kind of a loaded question. That I think they're already
it's a very good question. I mean, how's the players developed over the years? You're trying to get AF and like the 80s to 90s, whatever. To be fair, I think the game's become more professional, especially with clubs like Hastings with the academy and things like that, how they conduct themselves. And in the local parks as well. Generally, do you know what I mean? There's always sometimes a bit of hassle or whatever, but I think most of the time with the respect side of it, it's pretty good. It's getting better. And it's still a little bit of room for improvement. But over the years, I think football has progressed, especially around this local area. Do you know what I mean? As I said, with the academy, how they conduct themselves. It's very, to be fair, Hastings as itself, change the question slightly, they've changed big time. Do you know what I mean? And I do the pre-season friendlies and help out with a couple of games here or whatever, and need to be done. And to be fair, they've always been kind to me. Do you know what I mean? And they've been very professional. Do you know what I mean? Especially Aggie. Do you know what I mean? He expects a lot from his players. Do you know what I mean? And you can't keep everybody happy, because some of the decisions I make maybe differ from what they expect. Do you know what I mean? But they had the scream. Don't get me wrong. They had their screams and their shouts. Football's all about that. Do you know what I mean? As long as it doesn't carry on after the game, there ain't a major problem. You know what I mean? I hope that answers your question in some sense.
Well, yeah. To be fair, the person asking it probably thought you were going to say the behaviour is worse, but I don't think so. I think locally, I think it's a lot better than it has been. I think it's.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, ironically, I could do 10 games, and one of those games, I thought to myself, what am I doing this for? Does that make sense? But 10 years ago, it'd have been like probably about 4, if not 5 games, with the abuse, the swearing, do you know what I mean? How the players conduct themselves, even the managers, the secretaries. It's got a lot better, which is good.
Yeah, good. Of course it is, yeah. Well, that's obviously you're doing your job right.
Hopefully. That's another thing as well. But to be fair, we're us referees are human as well. And to be frank, we do make mistakes.
With some eyesight problems, but we won't go there.
And it's all about opinions at the time. And sometimes, you know what I mean, with the experience I've got, or I'm gaining, shall I say, do you know what I mean? It's about blagging it sometimes. Don't show weakness, do you know what I mean? And I think there was one game I'd done for Hastings recently. I should have gave it, actually, I think it was a youth game. And I did make a mistake. And it was like, I should have given an advantage for Hastings. They were clean, not so much clean through, but obviously a great opportunity, chance to go through.
Yeah. And
I banged the whistle. And in hindsight, I should have held the whistle a little bit longer to see how the progress of the game was going. Yeah. But Ronica held my hands up and I apologised, and they respected that. Now, obviously, a lot of referees don't kind of acknowledge that they've made a mistake if it was a mistake, and that's when you start getting a bit of abuse. So I think sometimes you can hold your hands up, a bit of honesty goes a long way.
Oh, of course it does.
And I think I've gained that with experience, do you know what I mean? Because it's a lonely world out there, us referees, to be quite honest, when you've got like 22 players and your coaches and everything else. It's a lonely, lonely place. So sometimes you've got to blag it a little bit and be straight-faced, just get on with it.
Yeah. All right. Very nice. Very good answer there. Right. Let's go. No, we'll leave the Jack Dixon one for later. There, you would have. Well, saying that, actually, I got a response because I did say that you were on with Barry. Yeah. And obviously Barry's not turned up. And then I'll give you one answer I got, which was, where is it? Oh, where is he? Yeah, it's better that you're doing it because you would have asked him a question and he would have had to ask his assistant for the answer so they would agree. So, now I'm,
I think Barry bottled it a little bit.
Barry the bottler.
That's it. But yeah, he liked that. He won't like it.
Well, we'll have to have him on when we're doing a round table or something.
No, exactly.
Talking about a game after. But, right. Okay, here's one. What makes you hate Jack Dixon so much?
Funny you're going to say that. I've got something for you. Let me
all right, exclusive. Go on.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that?
Oh.
I think Jack will like that. No, to be fair,
yes.
Me and Jack Dixon, I mean, a lot of players. I mean, Jack, to be quite honest, great player, passionate player, good skipper. It's not so much I dislike him. To be quite honest, I see Jack a fair bit. Do you know what I mean? He's like, all right, Matt, all right, Jack. And we get on quite well, in all fairness. We've had our run-ins.
Oh, don't burst the bubble, Matt.
No, we've had our run. To be quite honest, it may come across that, Matt, the referee, is card happy, always cards Jack. But on the flip side, Jack's a very, very difficult player to manage because obviously his passion.
Yeah.
He obviously, on this, I mean, Jack will probably agree with me, do you know what I mean? And I don't always get it right. The same again, I've got to blag it. But certain times, when certain tackles goes in or infringements or things like that, you could see, I'm going to say Jack's a raging bull, but you could see the passion.
Yeah.
Passion he wants to win, the desire. And I don't blame him for that. But obviously, from the referee side to a player's side, there's got to be a divide. And I've got to make sure to try and manage him, or not so much manage him, but obviously, if I don't manage him, other players will start doing it as well. And especially Jack being a skipper, sometimes it's very easy to caution a skipper. Then you'll get more respect from the players in a sense, well, that referee's not taking any so-called shit or whatever, kind of excuse my language. So, I mean, I must have carded Jack, between 5 and 10 times in my refereeing career over that time. And maybe I might have got a couple might have been harsh, do you know what I mean? But generally, no, Jack's a good lad.
They're the ones the fans remember, Matt.
Yeah.
They don't remember the other 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a recent one. I think Jack took one from the team. I think he tripped. A player was going through. He just took his legs away from the eye. You know what I mean? And I think you may have been at the game that game.
Oh, I was.
Yeah, and I think, and to be quite honest, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I carded him, and made no doubt that some of the supporters, he's card happy. But if you can see where I'm coming from, it's a cautionable offence. Do you know what I mean? But no, he is a great lad and a good player and a good ambassador for Hastings. In all fairness, do you know what I mean? Passion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right. Oh, I got a message from old John Gale, Windy John, for people that know him. He's got a mate who was a ref who sent off 4 Hastings players in one game.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently. How many have you sent off? What's your record for one game?
Oh, very good question. I've had a few. I think technically you can't go down to under 7 players, so that's never happened to me. I think I've probably had definitely 2 red cards and a misconduct from the management, so probably two. But in my progression when I was going through the ranks, I think I was a bit card happy. I think I probably had about 11, if not 12 yellow cards in one game. And that's talking about 10 years.
You weren't taking any abuse there then, were you?
That was about 10 years ago, but I mean, generally you would not see that nowadays. But obviously, ironically, I could probably turn around and say maybe I was a bit harsh with 9 of those. Does that make sense? Nowadays, you know what I mean? I think if a referee's experience, a little quiet word in the ear, talking to players, things like that, you generally find that the card ratio goes down. I mean, let's face it, if two players are scrapping or something like that, you've got nowhere to go, it's 2 red cards. But if a tackle goes in, it's borderline. Sometimes you're better off calling a player in and saying, look, that's your last one, and cut the air kind of thing. So everybody can see around the ground, look, that's his last chance. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's good refereeing. Rather bringing a card out straight away, because if you bring the card out in the first minute, you've got to maintain that throughout the game. Yeah. And that's difficult, very difficult. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong, if there's a punch-up or a flying kick to the head or something like that, it's a red card. Everybody can see it. But tackles, generally, you know, if 2 players get up and get on with it, you know yourself, it's not the yellow card generally, you know. So the same with red card. It's good motto for a red card is if a tackle goes in and you're not too sure. I mean, I'm bringing the phrase in now, like orange. That means like could be yellow, could be red. Now, generally, if a tackle goes in and that player gets up and nothing's said, you know it's a yellow card. Does that make sense? Or reckless. But generally, if it's a mass confrontation and it kicks off big time, that's telling you that's a red card. Yeah. You know, does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or, one way to settle it down.
Very difficult. And sometimes us referees, you've got to see it at one speed. We ain't got charged. We haven't got the VAR. We have the thought process. You've got to really concentrate. And it's all about angles. All about angles sometimes. And if you don't see it correctly, you're guessing. So sometimes you've got to go with players' response. Okay. And that's happened to me a few times. And generally, 90%, I'll probably get it right. Okay. Unless it's video evidence.
Yeah. Well, talking of video evidence, you mentioned VAR. Obviously, a lot of people up in the air about it and how it's being interpreted. What's your opinions on it?
It's very difficult. Well, no, it's an easy question. The experience the referees have got at that level, why do they need VAR? They're actually getting earpieces, little talks down the ear saying this, that. They're getting so much help. I think it's ruined the game slightly. I mean, if the ball over line, absolutely agree. Do you know what I mean? But just taking some of the referee decisions away from the referee, do you know what I mean? I think it's spoiling it a little bit. I mean, even with the offsides now, do you know what I mean? I see a couple this morning, a goal's gone in and the flag's gone up. In the old days, why do you need that for? To get that flag. I think what they're trying to do is trying to minimise the amount of referees and assistants' mistakes. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get them out of jail. Yeah. And I think sometimes, you know, I saw Mike Dean and things like that. You know, don't get me wrong, good referee, but obviously the one with the elbow, the West Ham player, do you know what I mean? So it seems a red card. For my instance, it's a red card all day long. But these pundits can see it 15 times.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Well, Matt, that's the question that Mr. Heritage asked me to ask you. He says, I want to know what your feelings are on Mike Dean. So
I think it's really. I think it's a good referee. Same again. He's human, makes mistakes. It's no different from that centre forward missing from 6 yards, open goal. Nothing's ever said. Yeah. But obviously, you know, if a referee gets a throw-in wrong or a corner wrong, bloody hell, referee. It's nothing major. But generally, if they get the major decisions correct, 9 times out of 10 they do. But I think VAR, it's not really helping them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
just sinking them. Do you know what I mean? It gets them out of jail loads of times. Do you know what I mean? Especially the offside. Do you know what I mean? A finger offside. Jesus Christ! They've got to make it more. The torso has got to be in front of the other torso or something like that. Not a finger or a hand or a toe. So I think it's ruined the game a little bit in hindsight.
Well, that and the handball, to me, like, you know, the handball rule now, you know, where people. I mean, that must be at say at your level, Matt. How do you work that out? Like, because you haven't got the obviously the video replays, and it's
no. I think the same again. You've got you've got to blatantly 100% be certain to give something that make a decision. You're better off rather than guessing. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes, old man's I do guess and get it right. Do you know what I mean? Or players' response and things like that. But the handball is very, very difficult in sense, was it deliberate? Was it accidental? Was the ball too close? It's very good to make that mindset straight away to give the decision.
Yeah, is it though? Is it Matt? Now it doesn't matter if it's intentional or not though, or is that
no? Exactly. That's all changed now. Yeah.
And it's I don't. Well, good luck to you, mate, with that.
And my thing is, I look at it, is the hand in a natural position.
Yeah.
I think if you're like that,
it's
obvious your hand shouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? If it's down by your side, do you know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, we just get on with it as such. Do you know what I mean? You're better off not doing nothing rather than like making something up. So, generally it's got to be blatantly obvious to everybody, and I think you can send it better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good stuff. Right. Favourite ground that you've refed at?
It's got the Amex.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Talk about it then, come on.
Well, I did the highlight of my career off there, so I've done the SUSSEX Senior Cup final, which I think was probably 5 years ago now, and that's between Brighton and Crawley.
Yeah.
And it was... highlight of my career, and I have to be quite honest, but it's definitely the best pitch I've run on, shall I say, do you know what I mean? And it was a good day, and they looked after us, not with hospitality, quite a big crowd, do you know what I mean? And it was Amex for me.
Yeah,
is the one.
Oh, nice. Okay. And worst ground you've been to?
Oh, Ramsgate.
Yeah.
Ramsgate. Oh, on a cold winter's day up there, the wind. Oh. I mean, obviously, I've been there a few times, and it's a bit of a distance from here. Obviously, like the restroom, with the toilet and things like that. No heating, hospitality. Yeah, I'd say definitely. There's been a few, but Ramsgate for me, not a nice place to go.
No,
not a place to go at all. Do you know what I mean? They won't like that if I hear that. But nice people there. Don't get me wrong. But
you're backtracking now.
Yeah, that's nice. An honest opinion.
No, there we go. Memorable moments on the pitch. Is there any kind of moments you've let something go and it's led to as you play where you thought, no, actually, I'm going to let that play on, and it's developed and a great goal's coming from it? Any sort of moments like that? Yeah,
some playing the advantage kind of role. Yeah, it's so not with. Yeah, I can't particularly think a place or a match, but obviously the feeling that you've made a great decision. I don't know what actually it was Margate. Yeah, thinking about Margate many years ago. I think it was a tackle that went on the halfway line, and it was a yellow card. And I'll come back to that in a minute. And obviously I played advantage, the arms go out, and the ball went right to the right winger. He dashed down, ball went in, header, top corner. Yeah. And I think it was absolutely brilliant. But I had to go back and caution the player for the offence he'd done prior to that. So when you kind of like, a lot of referees nowadays would just blow up for a free kick and a caution. So I took a chance there, especially if he'd been on a caution already.
Yeah,
you think to yourself, actually, he's got to go. Why wait another minute or 2 minutes? Because he could well put another tackle in. So, practically speaking, do you know what I mean? You do or you don't. But that paid off for me. Do you know what I mean? But lucky enough, I think that lad wasn't on a caution. So sometimes you've got to be quick-minded, thinking number seven, put the tackle in. Has he been cautioned? And you can't go for your notepad or notebook to have a look. So sometimes it's all about memory, thinking actually that's his second offence. He's got to go. And to play advantage on something like that, ironically, don't do it.
Yeah,
obviously, kill the game. Send him off, I think, rather than going back to a yellow card. So it's all about thought process. But no, playing the advantage and where it kind of pays off, it's a lovely feeling.
Have you ever? I mean, because obviously for you refs, you've got a ton of stuff going on in your head. You're getting barracked by the crowd, which I presume you switch off. You can switch that off. So, like, have you ever had a time when you're like, hang on, have I booked this bloke or not? Have you ever had that moment?
I've had that a few years ago. Yeah. I think where was it? Herne Bay.
Yeah.
And I was being assessed by I won't mention his name, and I made a major mistake. I went to caution a player, and I thought to myself, I've already cautioned you. I looked at my notepad, and obviously my notebook like home and away, and I had number 11 home, and he was number 11 away. And I looked at home, and I thought I've already cautioned him. So I've done yellow and red.
Yeah.
And he said, I haven't been cautioned yet. And I'm being assessed. I'm thinking, have I made a mistake here? So I went over to my linesman, that senior linesman, and he told me, I said, Matt, I think you made a boo-boo here. So I retracted it straight away. Yeah. But obviously I got the assessment wasn't too good. So I've made a major issue there. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it does happen. It shouldn't happen. But lucky enough, I come out with the right decision at the end, because I could have sent him off, and he's off. He couldn't come back on. Simple as that. Or maybe they can. I ain't too sure. But yeah, it does. It has happened to me. Oh.
Sorry for bringing up that memory.
No, I'm just being honest. I mean, it's a bit. You've got, as you say, it's a lot to take on. Especially if you've got a fiery game. You've got especially if you've got 6 or 7 cautions already, or 2 reds, and you've got a lot on your notepad. You've got to write it down right. And I've been out with a lot of referees that I've been an assistant to. They wrote the wrong number down. Oh, bloody hell! You know what I mean? So I've got them out of jail. Yeah. I mean, it happens. You know what I mean? Because, well, it's high pressure, isn't it? Yeah. We do a full match record. You know what I mean? And I write numbers down. And technically, you should take the name, the offence, blah blah blah. I write numbers down. You know, my experience now, 99% I'll get it right. Don't make a mistake, because of the experience I've got. And it all comes back to experience. Do you know what I mean? But then again, your senior assistant on the dugout side, he does a full match record as well. Okay. So generally, they're there to get out of jail. And I always said to them, if I've made a right monkey or something or whatever, call me over and we can address it before it gets any worse. So generally, it's all about team ethics. And my fire assistant, I always get him to do a full match record in a different time zone as us. So if we're being a senior assistant and writing things down, he's doing it by after we've done it. So I've got a third assistant, technically, and get me out of jail as well. Yeah. Oh, that's good. It all comes down to experience, really. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But that answered your question. Yeah, no, it did. Well, either that, or when you turn the yellow card round, it says Jack Dixon on it. So you're not going to get it wrong, are you? No. Ironically, with the local lads, you know what I mean? They know them all, don't you? Yeah, you know them all. They think, well, you know, Matt's Matt. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things they know they can get away with, and certain things you don't. Do you know what I mean? So it's get to know the players as well, and obviously that's with experience as well. If you go through all these clubs, they all know you. They all know what you like or dislike. So they do try and a lot of players they do try and get something out of you. It makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, clever. Well, I've got a little another contribution from a certain PH. He's blaming your wife for his receding hairline. Well, yes, he does go into my wife's father's in Bexhill, But ironically, he's been closed for a few months now with the COVID. But no, he's still got plenty of hair. Do you know what I mean? You sure he's not doing a Shane Warne, you know, the old Shane Warne, Graham Gooch, the old fake little astroturf on the head? He could well be doing something. I mean, obviously, I'm losing mine on top of my head. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, for his wife age, do you know what I mean? He's still got a full head of hair. And what a lovely bloke, to be fair. Nice. You know, obviously, I want to, you know, he said you were East Sussex answer to Mike Dean, but no, he says you're a good bloke. He says you're a good bloke. That's it. But when he's on the sidelines, you're bloody awful, he says. But no, I expect that. Do you know what I mean? I expect that. Yeah. What's the future hold? I remember a couple of years ago you talked about maybe packing it in. I mean, are you still thinking that way, or have you still got the bug? I think once I got demoted from a level 3, technically, obviously for the admin and club marks, observers marks, I kind of lost a little bit of faith in it. I thought to myself, I've reached my pinnacle level. And to be quite honest, you know, I was level 3, never maintained to be the best or whatever. I've always thought I was an average level 3. Yeah. And that was a good level to get to, especially like the ripe old age when I first started at refereeing. I didn't start refereeing until I was 36. Oh, okay. Ironically, I'm 54 now. But don't look it, mate. Don't look it. It's that oil Ule, mate. Oil of Ule. I think it was all that abuse I got over the years from the supporters. But no, I've back down to the county league now. Do you know what I mean? I still do a bit of Ishmael assistance running the line, and I'm starting to get that bit of buzz back again. Do you know what I mean? You know, it was putting my tail between my legs going to certain clubs that I used to referee, but now going there as an assistant. And you know, a lot of referees would just go off at a certain level and obviously go assessing or gardening or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I just want to maintain to stay in it to keep myself fit and do something, in all fairness. But yeah, the buzz is there, and I've had a good season this year. And ironically, if the season was to carry on, I'd probably be offered back to level 3 again. That's how. Yeah, I mean, it took me 2 seasons really with the county league side because I had to change my style of refereeing. Because every league you go up, you've got to tweak the way you referee. So you can't referee the same as a county league side. No, ironically, in fact, like Hastings played New Haven, didn't they, recently in a friendly. 2 different teams, do you know what I mean? One's professional, one's, no disrespect to New Haven, do you know what I mean? But not as professional, do you know what I mean? Like Hastings want to play football, New Haven a bit, you know.
Bit rough and tumble. That's
the word, yeah. Yeah, so obviously when it's rough and tumble, you generally find there's more yellow cards and red cards. And I think my first season back at level 4, I think I had a lot of cards and lost a lot of faith out of certain clubs, thinking that, oh, the referee last week didn't do that, but why are you doing it this week? So it's addressing the way you referee. And I've kind of like started to suss it now. Do you know what I mean? I had a lot of years out of County League. Now going back, when I obviously back with my 3rd season doing it, clubs are starting to realise, actually, yeah, I can see how I've had to change my style a little bit. Makes any sense, but it's difficult. It's difficult to keep everybody happy.
Yeah, I've heard it, mate. I've heard it. I've heard you do like you know, I'm going to get stick now, but I've seen you do decent calls, and then it'll be, hey, it's him. He's fucking useless. And I'm like, hang on, what do you mean then? You know, because obviously the blinkers come down.
Yeah, no, try. I think all the supporters, all a lovely lot they are. I mean, if you ever said to them, "There's a whistle, go and do that game," they'd be like, Do you know what I mean? And technically, there's probably 400, if not 500 referees watching that game. They all think they can do it. Like, it's all about opinions, do you know what I mean? And to be quite honest, sometimes they're probably right. You know, but I've got to blag it sometimes, do you know what I mean? Smile on my face, do you know what I mean? And that's probably why, do you know what I mean? If I'm smiling, but I've watched a few games at Hastings, do you know what I mean? As a supporter. And yeah, the supporters are very passionate, do you know what I mean? And I see it from both sides, do you know what I mean? I'm watching a referee that I know is in the middle, and the couple of times I myself, oh, he's got away with that, but it's going to be a stick from the crowd. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I can see why referees do get a bit of abuse, because obviously if you're not refereeing correctly or miss something major, everybody's going to get a bit uptight about it. So yeah, generally, do you know what I mean? And sometimes that happens to be, just goes in one ear, comes out the other. You just got to move on. Just got to move on. Yeah,
we try shouting at you, Matt, and you just ignore us, mate.
No, do you know what? I get it's same again. It's experience. You just kind of goes in one out the other. It doesn't faze me as such. Do you know what I mean? You know, I try and do the best I can, let the game flow if I can. Yeah. But you're not going to keep everybody happy. Yeah. It's difficult. You just got to let it go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All right, Matt. Well, listen, Matt. Thanks for your time. No, thank you. Absolute pleasure, mate. And you know, we'll have to get you on when we're doing that. Well, hopefully, when we get some bloody football again, I'd love to get you on to get your opinion on a game or whatever. Whenever you're free. I've enjoyed it. I hope I've come across quite. Well, I'm just going to edit it, and it's going to be you hate Jack Dixon, and that'll be it. Yeah. And, they read it then. They look at it in the podcast. I love Jack. No. Thanks. Pleasure, mate. Take care. Yeah. And yeah, all the best. Thank you very much. Mate. Thanks. Bye.